Hi, I'm Kara Murphy, and this is Money with Murphy. For students and parents, August means back to school season. Maybe picking out a new backpack, or setting the alarm a little earlier, or a new pair of sneakers for those feet that grew 2 sizes. For many college students and their families, back to school comes with something else that is much more expensive: tuition. High tuition bills usually mean loans. About 40 million Americans have federal student loan debt. As of June 2026, outstanding student loan debt was $1.65 trillion, up from $440 billion 20 years ago. The rising cost of college has been making headlines for years, but recently the story has shifted from borrowing money to actually paying it back. Federal student loan repayments resumed in October 2023 after a 3-year pandemic-era pause. At first, borrowers were protected by a temporary on-ramp that limited some of the consequences of those missed payments. That protection ended last year. In the second quarter of 2026, the share of student loan balances at least 90 days past due hit 10.5%, the highest reading since before the pandemic. The restart of payments came at a particularly difficult time. Borrowers were already facing higher costs for housing, food, insurance, and transportation relative to when their payments were paused in 2020. While student loan debt is putting real pressure on millions of borrowers, it's important to keep that pressure in perspective. In aggregate, household finances remain relatively healthy by historical standards. Overall consumer debt accounts for just 10% of household assets, down from nearly 20% in 2009. And debt payments still take up a smaller share of household income than they did before the pandemic. For investors, this is a reminder that headline economic data doesn't always tell the whole story. Overall consumer spending remains healthy, but beneath the surface, some households are doing quite well, while others are facing increasing pressure. Student loan borrowers are one example of how the economic experience can vary dramatically from one household to another. So as families send students back to school this fall, many are focused on the opportunities that education can create. They're also being reminded of the growing cost that often comes with it. Student loan debt isn't a crisis for the broader economy, but it is a meaningful challenge for millions of borrowers. Next week, we'll look at how we got here, including what's driven the rise in tuition and student borrowing over time. Until then, invest wisely and live richly.